Hello, welcome to our lesson on powers. Let's start by writing the definition of a power. A power is an expression written with an exponent and a base, or the value of such an expression. So here we see an example of a power. The 2 represents the exponent, and the 3 is the base number. So what the exponent tells us, it tells us that how many times we are to take the base and multiply it by itself. So this is telling us to take the base number of 3 and multiply it 2 times, which of course would equal 9. Now let's introduce the laws of exponents. The first law of exponent is this one right here. So notice that what we do is whenever you have the same base number, let's say, I'm going to use 2 for an example. Let's say 2 squared, and I'm multiplying that by another number that has the same base. Let's say 2 cubed. This law of exponent tells me that the answer I would get is the same as 2 to the 3 plus 2, or 2 plus 3, which is 5. And that makes sense when you think about it, because 2 squared in factor form means 2 times 2. 2 cubed means 2 times itself 3 times. And so if I added them up, I'm actually multiplying 2 by itself 5 times. All right, so that's what this law of exponents says. If you're multiplying numbers that have the same base, you can add the exponents and just leave the base alone. All right, so let's try one with a variable. Say I have a cubed times a to the 4th. What would that equal? Well, my base is the same number, it's a, and then 3 plus 4 is 7, so that would equal a to the 7th power. All right, now let's look at the second one I want to talk about today, which is this one over here. This shows a number taken to a power being divided by another number that has the same base being taken to a power. So let's again use some examples here. Let's say 2 cubed over 2 squared. And according to this, that should equal 2 to the 3 minus 2, which is 1. So 2 to the first power, or just 2. All right, let's write it out and see if that's really true. 2 cubed is 2 times itself 3 times. 2 squared is 2 times itself twice. And I can see that if I was dividing, that 2 of the 2's would cancel out. And yes, we'd be left with just the number 2 in the numerator. So it works. Whenever you're dividing numbers that have the same base, you can subtract the exponents. Okay, so let's try another example. This time we'll be using a variable. So let's take x to the 4th over x squared. Okay, well, if I take my base, x, and then go 4 minus 2, I should get x squared. And I can double check to make sure that's right, and it is. X to the 4th means x times itself 4 times. X squared is x times itself twice, and then 2 x's would cancel in numerator denominator. I'd be left with x times x, which is equal to x squared. Okay, now let's talk about this one. This shows a base number taken to a power with a parenthesis around it and then another power. So let me use 2 again. Let's say I had something like this. 2 cubed in parentheses, and that's getting squared. All right, according to this law of exponents, that should equal the base number 2, and then 3 times 2, which is 6. So that should equal 2 to the 6th power. Well, think about it. If I have 2 cubed, that means 2 times 2 times 2. And if it's being squared, that means it's being multiplied by itself. So that's another 2 times 2 times 2. And if I add these up, yes, there are 6 of them. So yes, it does work. All right, let's try one with a variable. Let's say I have x to the 4th power, and that's being cubed. Okay, so I would take my base number x and then multiply 4 times 3. So that should equal x to the 12th power. All right, and if I wrote it out in factor form, x to the 4th is x times itself 4 times. And if I cubed it, that means I'm doing that 3 times. So yes, this would add up to a total of 12 factors of x. X is being multiplied 12 times. So that works. All right, let's try a couple examples. Try this one. Try 3 squared times 3 cubed. Try 3 to the 4th power divided by 3 to the 2nd power. Okay, go ahead and pause your video, then restart to check your answer. Welcome back from pausing the video. The first one, they both have the same base of 3. Since we're multiplying, add the 2 exponents. 2 plus 3 is 5. So this equals 3. This would equal 3 to the 5th power. Here, same base again, but we're dividing, so subtract. 4 minus 2, this would equal 3 squared. All right, how'd you do? Okay, try this one. How about 4 squared to the 4th power? Well, let's see. 4 squared is going to be 4 times 4, and it's going to happen 4 times. So this equals 4 to the 2 times 4, which is 8. So that would equal 4 to the 8th power. You multiply the exponents. Okay, well that's all for tonight. As always, remember, read some books.